What's going on, everybody? We are back on the Taurean Rain Reloaded channel. I'm back here again with Black Light Revelations 2 after the response we got on the collab we did on the Charlie Cheon video, which was a very good response. A lot of people were saying we should collab more often, and then what do you know? Came across something that we could collab on literally like a couple days later. By the time y'all see this, it'll be a week later. So, and this one's going to be tough because that Charlie Cheon one was, that was a bit of a journey, but this one right here is going to be a hassle. But go ahead, Rod, tell the people about what we about to go through today.
Man, this is this right here is a Incredible Hulk of bed bugs. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with the Incredible Hulk of bed bugs. There he is right there.
Yeah, and the reason why you might see that I skipped a minute and 49 seconds ahead is because that whole first part is like literally like the news part of the story, and then him giving his advertisement for, I guess, whatever apparel he has. We ain't checking for that. We ain't checking
right,
for that. Right. But yeah. So I hope the people that are listening right now, I hope that y'all have not eaten yet, because I don't want you to lose your lunch over what is about to be said.
Yeah, mainly grab a plastic bag.
You have your trash can nearby. Maybe, I don't know, take some Malox or some antacids or some Gas X or something, or maybe some kind of a cleanse, because
or just go ahead and go in the bathroom and listen to this. Make it easy,
right? Because this is going to be a tough one. And by the way, I didn't cheat. When I say cheat, I didn't look at anything that this guy said, but when I knew he was going to talk about this because it involved a cop killing. Not killing of a cop, but a cop killing, or cops killing a black person. So I already knew he was going to talk about this because this is his routine, and we already know from what angle he's going to go with this. So this video is almost 20 minutes long. That Charlie Cheon one was a little over 13. So pray for us.
Y'all got some entertainment coming. Y'all definitely got some entertainment coming. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
Oh, you got to put it up on the screen, bro.
Say it again.
You got to put it up on the screen.
Oh. See, he already messed up.
That's hilarious.
You know what it was? Because I turned the little the stop sharing thing off instead of clicking the hide button. That's what it was. Let me go ahead and start it over. Y'all, this is unedited. Y'all getting the raw, uncut stuff. Okay, we ain't editing nothing. so we have to, luckily, I'm glad you caught that. All right, let's get back into it.
I didn't get nauseated. So that's how I knew something was wrong. Like, my stomach didn't start bubbling. I was like, wait a minute, I was expecting this. I got a roll of toilet paper here, I got some air freshener, but nothing's happening yet, so something must be going on. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit queasy.
All right.
Y'all know I have to talk about these Memphis police officers who've been arrested and charged. The indictment is coming down for murder in the second degree among.
Let me just stop right there already. He said, y'all know I have to talk about. Actually, you don't have to talk about it, because we know what you're going to say.
Right.
You're a one-trick pony. We already predict what you're going to say before you even open your mouth.
Right.
We actually knew you were going to make a video about this when this first happened. So you didn't have to do it. You chose to do it because these type of videos gain him some of the most views on his channel.
Oh, absolutely.
The way that he got to the millions of subscribers he has is because of his takes on stories such as these.
Yep, absolutely. He knows exactly what to say to trigger that alt-right, that alt-right algorithm, and they go wild about it because they like that reinforcement. It's the whole ego trip thing. They like to hear a black person saying this nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Amongst other charges, the charges that I saw on the book so far is second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, and official misconduct is what the charges are. These police officers are all black men between the ages of 24 and 32, and they have experience on the police department for between 2.5 to 5 years. These police officers were a part of what they would consider on their department a Scorpion unit. A Scorpion unit is designated for high crime area, high saturation of specialized police officers that are there to stop crime. Now, I have my opinions about this because I never, I want you to hear me out. I never believe what the media says at face value. I never believe what the police chief says, because
but somehow we're supposed to believe him. At least that's what his audience does. And by the way, I don't mean to cut you off, Rob.
No, you good, bro.
And by the way, to everyone listening, he put this video out before the body cam footage was released. So pay attention to everything that he's going to say in this video. And if you can stomach it, because I know I won't, you can go back and look at his video that he did after the body cam footage came out and listen to how different his tone was. Like some of the stuff that he said. Rob, did you look at that video that he did when he was going over the body cam footage?
No,
Okay. Yeah, and yeah. So I bet you his tone was slightly different, but it was probably still some of the same.
Because this particular police chief, I think her name is Carolyn, if I'm saying it right. It could be said, I don't know why she spell it like this. Spell it regular, woman.
There you go. There he goes. There he goes. There he goes. There's people in the comments say, oh, yeah, she's got one of those ghetto names. I bet you her middle name's Keisha.
Exactly. And I think her name is pronounced Saralyn.
Yeah, that's how I've been pronouncing
that's how I pronounced it, because it doesn't sound like, I don't think it would be pronounced Carolyn. So I think it's pronounced Saralyn, because it's an E. So, but yeah. And he said, oh my God, spell it correctly. Or whatever it is that he just said.
You know what?
That Oreo side kicked right on out of him, because I expect the PC person to say something just like that.
Exactly. You know what's crazy though? Like when he first came on and he said that he doesn't trust the media and he doesn't trust the police chief. Since when? Is that something new for this particular case, or is that something that he's been doing this entire time? Because literally, he always says the exact same thing that the police say, and he always says the exact same thing that Fox News says. So since when hasn't he trusted the media or the police?
Exactly. And Fox News of all places. And by the way, people, just because we stopped in this part right here when he was criticizing her name doesn't mean that we agree with anything that she does. At least, because I did a whole video about it. So I come at this from an unbiased take. I just stopped it right here because I feel like that was such a petty nitpick to make.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have said that if it was a white police chief.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And I'm glad you did do that video about her, because I didn't know she was a dirty cop like that until I heard your video.
Oh yeah, I told people, I said, that's why I put in the thumbnail, you're not off the hook, because I did that video about what Jason Whitlock said about her, be a single woman or a single mom, whatever he said. And then I came back and made this video because I want people to know that, granted, what Jason Whitlock said was some trash and very untrue, because the woman is married with a child. She's not squeaky clean either.
Right.
But for him to come in here and nitpick her name, like, what does her name have to do with the situation? Nothing.
Right.
Carolyn Davis, who's a black woman, came out and made some of the most ridiculous statements that I have ever heard from a police chief.
The same could be said about you on numerous occasions about the ridiculous takes you have given.
Right. He's made some of the most ridiculous takes that I've ever heard from a black man.
And has he? And what I would like to know, what was his highest rank as a cop? What was his highest rank? I don't know. I doubt it was police chief.
Yeah, probably not.
It is asinine to me that you are telling the public that a person is innocent until proven guilty, and you are making commentary about the conduct of your police officers. You are supposed to be impartial. You're making commentary about your police officers' conduct on a body-worn camera video that nobody has seen but the family.
Hold on real quick. Didn't they already do an internal affairs investigation?
Yes.
So basically what she's doing is reading what internal affairs saw or what internal affairs found. I'm pretty sure anything that she said, she's not veering too far away from what internal affairs said. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense, right? So usually the police officers do follow what internal affairs says as far as their discipline and statements that they make to the public. That's what they're allegedly supposed to have internal affairs for. So that's interesting that he thinks that the things that she said are just so bizarre and crazy and unheard of. I mean, they are, but the only reason why they are is not because of the reason why he's saying. It's only because you never hear the police department say these kind of things before the trial. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's a black person who's the victim of the brutality.
Exactly. And like I said to everyone listening, this was made before the body cam footage got released. So really pay attention to what he's saying here. And if you can, go listen to what he said in the body cam footage release video that came out like a day or two later. And like the tone is slightly altered, but not completely. But it's like in certain situations, like what he just said right here is like one of those things of just you should have just kept your mouth shut. And or in this case, his case, eat your words.
Right.
Criminal, and I don't call him a criminal. I can't stand him. I'm trying to find an adjective to describe him. But Benjamin Crump, who's an ambulance chaser, he's only involved with cases if they're going to make him money. If your son get killed today unjustifiably by anybody other than a police officer, Benjamin Crump will not show up to support you. But Benjamin Crump and the family saw the video footage. I want to read a clip, or at least a excerpt from what the police chief said. The Memphis police.
Can we pause this for 1 second? Now, here's my thing, right? I'm not a Benjamin Crump fan, right, at all, and I don't think most people are. Right. But Benjamin Crump is a lawyer. Most times, if you have an issue that's a legal issue, no lawyers come to support you. The only time a lawyer comes to support you is if you pay that $250 retainer, if that's your price range that you're in, or if you get a public defender. Where have you ever gotten a car accident and like an accident lawyer just like popped up and was like, here I am to support you? So like that's a false equivalent. Like the thing is like if you don't like Benjamin Crump, don't like him for doing the whole all lives matter thing, or trying to turn a black issue into everybody's issue. To say that he's not going to support you unless your person that you love is murdered by the police or whatever. I mean, that's what he does. That's what his job is. That's the kind of lawyer he is. He's a civil rights attorney. It's the same way like if Officer Tatum had a slip and fall accident in a store and a tax attorney walked past, I mean, they might help you up, but they're not going to just come and support you for your legal case. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just ridiculous for him to say.
Yeah, because that's not their level or their area of expertise.
Right.
It actually makes me sick to my stomach.
This is not just a professional failing. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual. This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane. And in the vein of transparency, when the video is released in the coming days, you will see this for yourselves. I expect you to feel what the Nichols family feels. I expect you to feel outrage in the disregard of basic human rights, as our police officers have taken an oath to do the opposite of what transpired on the video.
What kind of police chief would say something like this before anyone else had a chance to look at the video? Lady, you are indicting your own police officers.
See, that's the thing that gets me with him. He feels that the police are right in every or any aspect, especially when it comes to us, no matter what.
Right.
No matter what. You got to question yourself as well. What did he do to get fired from his job, or if he got let go, or whatever the case may be? Why isn't he not a cop anymore? And why do people still call him officer?
Right.
Like, that's the craziest thing to me, because I know if I don't have a title anymore, I'm not going to go around parading it.
He would have been one of them 5 that did that to
did it.
Tyre. Yeah,
that probably would have did it. And the way he's talking right now is exactly why he could never be nobody's police chief.
Right.
Like exactly. He would like that. He would run. He would be running almost the equivalent of Arkham Asylum.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And like the thing is he knows that an internal affairs investigation was already launched and completed. So he knows she's probably just bullet pointing the highlights of the internal affairs report, which is what a police chief would do in most cases. And the legal department probably gave her parameters for what she's able to say to the public. So I'm pretty sure she wouldn't just go out there and just make arbitrary statements, because as long as she's been the police chief, despite what her record is, she knows how to keep herself clear of any kind of, extra scrutiny. Right. So like my thing is Officer Tatum's not even being honest about the process. Like the internal affairs department and the police chief and everybody else already saw the body cam footage. and it's not going to be the public who who gives the guilty verdict. You know what I mean? It's going to be the judge and whatever jury that they select, and the selection process is supposed to select an unbiased jury. So again, like all this stuff that Officer Tatum is saying, everything that he's saying, if this was a situation involving white police officers, he would be saying the opposite and taking the white police officer's side. And if a white police chief had said these same things, he wouldn't even be questioning it at all. He'd have just made the videos about the black victim.
And not only that, too, when it comes to like the body cam footage and releasing it after the fact, that's something that has typically occurred, of course, when it comes mainly to white cops and they are harming a black person unjustifiably. And it's just that in this case, it was completely different, because the questions arise too, like, you know, how quickly they responded when it came to black cops. But we given examples time after time after time. When it comes to a black cop, they handle things more swiftly than it is when it comes to dealing with a white cop.
Right, absolutely.
Before they had a right to due process. It is stupid, it's irresponsible, and it bugs me. Because even if the cops are wrong, you are not a participant in the process. And you know what's funny is that these chiefs don't have a qualm about them to come out and say that the officers were wrong, but when the officers were doing something appropriate, they won't come out and say anything. They let the news run away with the narrative. And in this case, I wonder, is she trying to get ahead of something to save her, you know what, instead of keeping it real? I want to know. I haven't seen the body-worn camera footage, so I'm not going to say these officers did it, because I have seen with my own two eyes 90% of these cases that they're claiming that the officers acted inappropriately, even getting indicted. These officers were not acting inappropriately. The Atlanta police officers that were involved in the tasing of that kid in the car got fired. They ended up suing the police department. I believe they sued as well as the officers in Rashard Brooks' case. They fired them. They wanted to indict those officers, and the fool beat up the officers, ran and turned the taser and pointed at the officer's face, which is a use of deadly force.
Now, keep in mind, y'all, again, this is all before he saw anything. So, like I said, just pay attention to how he's sounding right here. Again, if I wanted to see that video, I would actually collab with Rob again just to do a reaction to how he responded in that video. But the reason why I'm not is because I don't want to see that footage.
Right.
That's the only thing keeping me from reacting to it.
Did you?
But I can imagine how he responded to it though.
Oh, you already know how he responded. It was probably disgusting. Did you hear what he just said though?
Yeah.
He said that pointing a taser at the police is a use of deadly force. So that means that, according to his logic, the white officer who was the last one to be charged should have been charged right along with those 5.
Exactly. And again, I'm glad you brought that up, because he made this video before that Preston Hemphill got exposed as the one of the white cops that was there, and the one with the taser. Yep. So I'm curious, has he said anything about that?
I haven't seen anything. If he does say something, you know we're gonna get
it's probably gonna be real lightweight.
Yep.
And it necessitated a deadly force response. They were wrong in indicting those police officers. Wrong. You could go Philando Castile. That officer was not indicted because he shouldn't have been.
What?
Why wouldn't he have been indicted?
Exactly. Why wouldn't he have been? Like, did we not? Apparently, we didn't watch the same video. Apparently, there's an altered one out somewhere that he saw that the rest of us did not see.
Right.
Because Philando Castile was licensed to carry. The cop had asked him a specific question. Philando Castile complied with it, and he killed him anyway.
Right.
Now, people may think, oh, that was a close call, but you got to look at the law. And I feel like that they are hell-bent on making examples of officers instead of holding the public accountable. Then this is the prediction that I'm going to make. I'll just say something real quick. And I haven't watched the body-worn camera footage. It will be released, and I will do a full, thorough, fair review. And if these officers are cutting up, I'm going to call them out for cutting up.
Somehow I doubt it.
And there's no limit to cutting up when it comes to him.
Exactly. That's why I keep wondering why is he not a cop anymore? Because the way that he defends their degenerate behavior makes me believe he was engaged in that type of stuff. Oh, if there's anything out there that would expose him, it would be a wrap.
Yep. I wonder if he was actually ever even a cop.
Right. He could have been top flight security of the world.
Top flight security, Craig.
And if they didn't do nothing wrong, I'm going to say that they didn't do nothing wrong and they were justified under the law. But you know, people cave under pressure because they're not built for this. And I would argue that this police chief is wrong by coming out and making any statements whatsoever without due process. You're creating a narrative without anybody being able to judge the video for themselves.
This is hilarious. And the reason why is because he's trying to give her a stern talking to in code speak about the blue line. Basically, is all this.
Yeah, basically saying she got out of line.
Yeah.
She wasn't doing what was as told, because we know that's what he would do.
Right. And now he also said that she's coming out and saying all this to like protect herself. But protect herself from what? Because all of her dirty laundry is already out. I mean, The thing about her dirty laundry is, what's interesting about this is that when it comes to her dirty laundry, the dirty laundry was already out and he didn't make a video about it. You did.
Exactly.
But
the thing is he has a video out about her now, so he might have spoken about that in there, but I'm curious as to what angle did he take that, because I haven't seen that video.
Right. We should do it. We should do a reaction. If the people in the comment section want us to do a reaction on his video, they should let us know, and then we could do it.
Right.
So I'll make this prediction. Very simple prediction. You don't get your kicked if you ain't doing nothing.
When an officer approaches your car, be polite.
Is there a problem, officer?
And stay in your car with your hands on the wheel. What the f you want?
If you,
Never mind.
No, what would you get ready to say?
I was about to say this dude cited a comedian. He cited a comedy sketch as fact, as if that's what happened.
Exactly. If anything, we've seen more white people act like that.
Yeah.
You know, get loud and belligerent and in the cop's face and running around the car. I even saw one did all of that and stole the cop's car during a police stop and drove off.
There was an instance where a white woman got out of her hand. She didn't get out of her handcuffs, but she was able to maneuver herself to where she was able to get a gun that was on a gun rack and start shooting from inside of the police car out at the police officers who were outside of the police car. And somehow they managed to get her back to the police station unscathed.
Exactly. But he ain't going to talk about that, though.
What was that one guy's name? Lance something? The one guy, you know who I'm talking about? The guy that he killed like 3 police officers and then they beat him up and he's all beat up on the mugshot. It was like Lance Rivers or something like that.
Was that last year?
Yeah, it was.
I think I know who you're talking about. You remember over the summer, like I think in July, like July to August, it was a string of white people, both men and women, that was getting in these shootouts with the police, and they kept bringing them in like one by one. They all had mugshots. I think only one of them got shot, but they didn't die.
Bro, that always happens.
And that was after what happened with Jalen Walker.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it always happens. Lance Stores, that was his name. That was his name, wasn't it? Lance Stores.
Yes, Lance Stores. Yep.
Yeah.
You that this person, this young man who lost his life at the hands of these police officers and others, because they did fire 2 Memphis Fire Department employees, and they're investigating another police officer for infraction of department policies.
I wonder if that was the Preston Hemphill.
It might have been.
Because see, at the time they didn't have his name.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that was the other cop.
I guarantee you, and this was supposed to be a traffic stop, I guarantee you that he didn't just stop and follow direction of police officers. I can almost swear before God, this wasn't a traffic stop like when I got pulled over.
Actually, it wasn't a traffic stop.
Exactly.
They haven't found any evidence, and the chief already debunked the fact that it was a lawful traffic stop. So even if he did resist, it was an unlawful stop. And since the police were the ones breaking the law in the instance, he had every right to resist.
Yeah, because I don't think they had the right to, like you said, it was an unlawful stop. That wasn't their jurisdiction.
And like I said, you know, why would the Scorpion unit be doing traffic stops? When do you ever see an undercover writing people traffic tickets?
And now he about to go into his little example of what it was like when he got pulled over.
Can we just take a moment to look at the eyeballs bucking?
Yeah, listen. When it comes to his videos, that man bucks them eyes at least 20 times.
That's crazy.
Where you stop and the officer say, show me your driver's license and insurance, and you show him your driver's license.
My thing is this guy thinks it's a one for all, as if every cop he has encountered is, well, if every cop is exactly the same mentality wise. You're living in a fantasy.
Right.
Because every cop mentality wise is not the same. Some are very hostile.
Right. And so
you
what if
you can do all the right things like he's quote unquote claiming, and they'll still mess with you.
Right.
Sometimes it could be a thing of you might be driving a nice car and they're mad because they got to be stuck with that car during the day, and then on the weekend they driving an even more busted vehicle.
Yeah. Or like, what if you're watching the cops do something unlawful? Again, like this was a unlawful stop. So like you're just supposed to comply. Like, what if you watch them throw a little bag of cocaine or a little bag of weed, if weed's not legal in your state, on your back seat? Then what? What are you supposed to do? You're still supposed to comply.
And we've seen that happen on so many occasions. I remember it was a video from the Baltimore PD, which is why they are in my top 5 most corrupt departments. It was a bag of cocaine. It was like a little small baggie, but it wasn't, they didn't throw it in the car. They were at the scene of an alleged crime where they was getting somebody, and one of the cops didn't realize that he didn't turn off his body cam and threw the bag onto the field as if the bag came out of the pocket of the criminal that they were going, or the suspect they were apprehending, or he may have dumped it and it just landed there. And then it's like, wait a minute, run that back again. And you saw him literally take the bag and toss it into the grass, and then went back over and said, hey, I found something over here.
Wow.
That happens all the time.
All the time.
I remember it was another incident where it was a undercover cop who went into a jewelry store. I believe it was a jewelry store, and it was owned by a black man. And he was asking some questions about some jewelry, and it caused the black man to have to go from behind the counter and go into the back. And the undercover cop, left a bag of cocaine right there on the counter. Luckily, that black man's cameras was working that day, because if they were not, they would have got him on cocaine possession.
Which is crazy.
So this happens all the time. So when he says stuff like this, he's trying to make it seem like every cop is the same. They're not.
Right.
They are not.
The insurance, and the officer asks you to do something and you do it, I can almost put my life on it that's not what happened. I bet you that he didn't follow instructions. He didn't follow directions. There was some resistance. There was some fleeing. I haven't seen none of the body-worn camera footage.
He said all of that while saying he hasn't seen anything yet. This is what he's predicting happened.
Right. Which
and
means
none
that
of
he's
it
assuming it
happened. And none of that, which he said, happened. But because he's a black man, he had to have done it.
Right.
He had to have done it. And listen to his tone and how he's talking. It's almost like a father scolding their child, or maybe disciplining their child for doing something wrong.
Remember I was saying how he's sitting there thinking that he's talking sternly. I guarantee you in real life, the only person that he talks to like that is that microphone. I bet you he don't even talk to his wife like that.
I'm almost certain he don't talk to his wife like that. And thank God. See, this is why I appreciate the amazing Lucas, because while at the inception of his platform, he was sort of like Brandon Fakum, he was able to be around these type of people. And then when he got his mind right after some, situations that he saw for himself, he basically relays back to us how these people really are.
Right.
This guy stays going in on Fakum any chance he gets, him and Candace. Because and the thing is, I can believe it because he's been in the circles with them. He knows who they are personally. He probably can call them up. He probably has their number if they ain't block them.
Yep, probably. And I'm telling that's one of the reasons I like, to me, like people like Candace Owens and people like Officer Tatum, like those are the people, like if once we get rid of those kind of people, they're not going to have a buffer to be able to hide and have a vehicle to be able to express their racism through. So they're going to have to do it and be accountable for it on their own without the buffer of a coon. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's one of the reasons why it's so important for like people like Amazing Lucas who do content like that, and for like us doing these reaction videos to just show these people, listen, we don't care about any of this. We don't care about you trying to get a little bit of bass in your voice and talk like you're crazy. You're sitting there saying that somebody should have been compliant with something that was already established was an illegal stop anyway. So after the cops already illegally stopped him, which is one of the reasons why they got the kidnapping charge, which he's not mentioning, you know what I'm saying? Why would you comply with kidnapping?
Exactly.
Footage. But I can put 2 and 2 together to say they could have been excessive in their use of force. They could have been wrong. But I guarantee you that this man wasn't just doing nothing, riding in his car, being a regular citizen. We shall see. And I will come back on the radio and say I'm wrong as 2 left shoes on an 8-legged man. If it comes to find out this man was just sitting in his car and was doing nothing and following every instruction, and 5 police officers just beat the snot out of him.
Thank goodness he didn't put Vegas odds on that.
Right. Listen, them pockets would have been left with nothing but lint.
And them pockets might have been in a river somewhere. You know?
Right.
I would almost want to bet I'd just quit the radio if
how we wish you could. But we know that you won't because the money is too good.
Right.
How you gonna pay your bills?
Right.
How you gonna support your family? We know you ain't going. We know you ain't quitting nothing. Because he came back. Because he came back and did the reaction video to this and did the video about the police chief like a day later.
Right.
He thrives off of this. He'd be glad when stuff like this happens.
Yeah,
because
I think
this is the height. This is the height of like the algorithm for him.
Yeah, exactly. I think he likes this stuff more, like he likes just being able to do this more than he even enjoys the little ego trip that he gets from his supporters riding him like how they do.
Yeah. See, like people like you and myself, we can talk about a variety of different topics. That's why we have so much content to offer. He is literally pigeonholed himself into a corner, into a box that he cannot climb out of. Let's just hypothetically say that police brutality was to just stop today, like it was no more. What would he have to talk about?
Nothing. He has no content whatsoever. I remember when that Fresh and Fit fiasco was going on a couple years back. I think it was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And he made reaction videos to it. His reaction videos were such garbage. It was ridiculous. And what's funny is the only reason why in his reaction videos that he made to Fresh and Fit, he was actually going in on Fresh and Fit. But the only reason why he was going in on Fresh and Fit was because literally everybody was going in on Fresh and Fit. You know what I'm saying?
So he hopped on the bandwagon.
He hopped on the bandwagon. He had no talking points, didn't understand the situation, had no history of what was going on with Fresh and Fit, and he just jumped on it for some algorithm candy because that Fresh and Fit thing, when that was popping off, man, man, bruh, that was the best time to be making some videos.
Now I did do a video about one of them. I think that his name was Byron. That's his name, Byron.
Myron Gaines.
Myron. Okay, I thought his name was Byron.
Don't even get me. Don't even get. We could actually do a whole nother. We could actually have a whole conversation about them. One of these days.
I had did one on just him not because of their platform or anything like that, but he did use his platform. But it was the disparaging thing that he was saying about Black Americans, and I made him a part. He entered my bed bucking Hall of Shame last June. I remember what month. I can't remember the day, but it was definitely in June when he made his entry into the bed bucking Hall of Shame, and it was because of that right there.
I don't believe that Myron Gaines. I've said this before on my platform, and this is me saying this. It's not the person who owns the channel. This is me, Blacklight Revelations, who said this. I don't believe that Myron Gaines is a black man. I believe that Myron Gaines is an Arabic man from the United Arab Emirates who immigrated to the Sudan. I want to see both of his parents. I don't believe that he's a black man.
Remember what we were talking about early before we started? A lot of these Sambos, we never know who their parents is. We never seen not one parent.
Right.
So I guess you can throw him right into the pile.
Right. Which, well, you know what? And speaking of the devil, when it comes to Officer Tatum going in on Fresh and Fit, specifically going in on Myron, Officer Tatum threw another law enforcement officer under the bus because Myron used to be a Fed.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So there's that.
If that was the case, they just beat him up and he was just sitting in the car. 5 of them beat him up. Now, you know, Benjamin Crump is one of the crookedest lawyers, in my personal opinion, only taking cases where he's going to make a lucrative paycheck on.
How does that make him crooked?
I was going to say something else.
Go ahead.
I usually don't like whenever I'm being petty, I will check your grammar. And this is one of those times. When has crookedest become a word?
Right.
He could have said that Benjamin Crump is one of the most crooked lawyers. He said Benjamin Crump is one of the crookedest lawyers. How old are you? 5? That sounds like something that came straight off of the script of the Rugrats.
Well, he's a Rugrat. Look at him. You know what I'm saying? He's a thug rat.
I was actually thinking about letting that one slide. I said, nah. Since we reacting to this, we're gonna have to go in on everything. But he
needs all the pettiness. He needs all the pettiness.
This reminds me of when I don't know if it was you or Kid Gravity had did some it was like some reaction to some tweets, and Candace had came up.
Oh, that was Kid Gravity.
And she had misspelled some of the most basic words she misspelled.
Kid Gravity said, "Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to get your tweet together." Man, Kid Gravity funny as hell, man.
Yeah. His statement about the body-worn camera footage that he saw was that this beating was comparable to the 1991 Los Angeles police assault of your boy, Rodney King. Now, when they invoke Rodney King and some of these other incidents, I know that they ain't about nothing. Let me just explain Rodney King for you real quick. He deserved to get his kicked. They just did it too long.
What?
He's
so said, gone. Y'all, we are at the 10-minute and 14-second mark. We are a little over halfway through this video. And did you just hear what he just said? This man said that Rodney King deserved to get his ass kicked. The only thing is they did it too long.
So now that should answer that question before that you was asking.
What question is that?
What would a precinct look like that he was running?
Oh, there you go. Yep,
there you go.
That's the answer to my question. There it is right there. This man, take Sarah Lynn Davis out of this and put him there. He would have been all up and through that Scorpion unit. He would have probably had every type of poisonous being name through there. He would have had a Scorpion unit. He probably would have had a Viper unit. He probably would have had some other poisonous
Black Widow unit.
The Black Widow unit.
The Vipers. He would have been Denzel on Training Day.
Right. But yeah, like y'all just heard it for yourself. We ain't putting no words into this man's mouth. If we did, he might actually have some sense.
Right.
Hey, don't. He deserved what he got. They just did it too long. He was in a high-speed chase. What we learned in the police academy is that he beat a female police officer almost to death. They pursued him in a high-speed chase. He never stopped. I mean, he was being pursued. He finally gives up, and he never complied. He gets out of the car. He never complied.
He gave up, but he didn't comply.
Exact. What is this double speak? Like, hold on. So he said he didn't give up. No, he didn't comply, but he gave up. Huh?
How does that work?
Like, how does that work? If you gave up, that means that you're complying. Like, you have just, you wave the white flag. You basically surrender. Okay, look, I'm gonna stop. Y'all got me. My hands is up. Throw the cuffs on me. Put me in the car. Take me off to jail. Whatever. But when he just said that, and I'm glad you caught that because I didn't even catch that.
This dude, he does this all the time. And He does it all the time. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Fact, stop resisting, stop resisting. He didn't do nothing they said, and they kept beating him. Now, after a while, you have to transition to something different than just throwing a stick at somebody. It just looks bad. That's why people are so outraged, because it looked bad.
Wait a minute. Time out. Let me I don't know if you caught this or not. He said they were hitting him with the sticks and it was looking bad. They need to transition to something different. So are you telling me they should have went to another method of beating? Like, say, with their hands, their feet, maybe a taser, the butt of the gun?
Yeah, they should have transitioned to something that didn't look as bad. Right.
And then you got to also question too, what kind of commands were they giving him? I bet you they were doing that thing of they were throwing out all type of different wild commands at one time that you can't hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
He deserved for use of force to be applied to Rodney King, hands down. In this situation, is probably.
But you want to not even to stop it again, but you want to know what also makes what he just said even more disturbing and disgusting is Rodney King is dead.
Right.
This man has been dead for a while now. I don't know how many years he's been deceased, but this man is dead.
If you notice one thing about black conservatives, black coon conservatives, I should say, the ones who are extreme coons like him and Candace Owens, that's one thing that they really feel empowered by is disrespecting dead black people.
Mm-hmm.
They do it all the time. Like Candace Owens did the whole documentary thing about George Floyd. What Officer Tatum, I don't know if you know about the history of what Officer Tatum did with Breonna Taylor, as disgusting as he is.
Yeah, that was one time that particular. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was Breonna Taylor or Ahmaud Arbery. It was one of the two where he was saying some stuff, and a lot of his audience was getting upset with him about it. No, it was the Uvalde shooting. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
his audience was so pissed with him. That was one of the very few small times where his audience actually made some sense, because they were so mad with his response to that, of him doing the reaction, I guess, to the video from the body cam footage of the cops, because we all remember what happened with Uvalde last year and how they were so slack with the response to that situation. That could have been handled so many different ways. And how he was trying to give a pass to the cops. Man, his comment section was tore up.
Man, they lit him up. Yep.
But then again, that's what I was asking you before. Who's the bigger dumbass, him or his audience? Because they keep coming back.
Right.
Probably the same way. I'll tell you what, even George Floyd, he deserved to have that amount of force used against him. Chauvin just did too much.
So he deserved to have that amount of force done to him, which was killing him, but Chauvin just did too much, which was killing him.
Mm-hmm. And then killed him.
Right.
Yep.
That's what Officer Tatum just said.
That's why I said I don't. What was his highest rank? I just need to know. Can someone please inform me what was the highest rank this man ever had? And it's so crazy when you listen to this and you have his audience say how much of a genius he is. That just tells you who his audience is.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said in my video that I did about Jason Whitlock, with him, what he said about Sarah Lynn Davis, the police chief, proved without the shadow of a doubt that a narrative that I've been going on with for years now is that these white supremacists use people like Jason Whitlock and Fakum to be their shield.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they will not get out there and actually say this stuff themselves unless they are that bold with it. I actually would appreciate if you did. That way I know who you are. I can't appreciate you if you doing this behind my back.
Right. Yeah, they're cowards. Like what they use coons for, like, you know, the way that people talk about buffer classes, they use coons as a buffer for them being accused of racism, because they can always just fall back and say, well, it wasn't us that said it. That they basically got Jason Whitlock on Fox for Jason Whitlock to be able to say all of the anti-black stuff that the Fox News programming team wants to be said, but they don't have anybody who can say it without getting in a lot of trouble or criticism. You know what I'm saying?
And they make sure that the show he always goes on is Tucker Carlson.
Yep.
You can't tell me that he shouldn't have been on the ground. You can't tell me that he shouldn't have exercised police protocol in getting him under control. It's just that he stood on his neck too long. But don't act like these people don't deserve nothing. They just shouldn't have been. The cops shouldn't even been there. Watch you find out that this man had drugs on him. He was running. He had warrants. I mean, all of the
what?
I mean, there you go. And you know what's interesting? Those people in his comment section, I guarantee you, none of them went back and said, well, you know, all that stuff that you said in that one video was totally wrong.
And you want to know what I was going to say? I told you before we started this, I was going to save this talking point for the end, but I wanted to I'll bring it up now, just in case he says anything. We only 11 and a half minutes in. We got more to go. I'm going to say this now before I forget. When I was looking through his comment section, I saw quite a few people saying, if you would just not resist, if you comply and don't run, you won't be shot. I'm like, shot where? Tyre Nichols was beaten to death. He was not shot, except with that taser, but that wasn't a fatal thing. It was the beating.
Why would you sit there and let somebody kidnap you? Let's not forget these police officers were charged with kidnapping.
and he brought up, watch, they gonna say he had drugs on him. Mind you, this is all before he even watched the video.
Right.
But he literally contradicted everything he said before this of, you know, what was it involving, like the police? I forgot what he said. Like, he said a lot of dumb stuff.
One thing that you can get from what Officer Tatum is saying is that everything that Officer Tatum says represents the way white law enforcement looks at random black people.
Exactly. That's why he is one of their main mouthpieces. They love him because they know that, even though what they know that what he's saying is a boatload of crap, but if it removes them from having to say it, they're fine with that. Because again, they'll use him as the mouthpiece, while they don't have to worry about someone calling them a racist or a white supremacist. And when he gets his wake-up call and he becomes a broken tool, they are not going to be there to catch him when he falls. They're just going to let him fall.
They're just going to let him fall and then laugh while he falls and laugh while he's squirming around, while that last little bit of nerve movement is still putting involuntary movements. He twitching like one of them flies when you swat him and they smashed and the back legs still be moving.
and it'd be looking like a crinkle fry.
This stuff are telltale signs of how this can happen to you. As a black man, I've been pulled over. I rarely, but I've been pulled over and I ain't never getting beat up or nothing like that. You know?
He did it again. He did it again, where he says that, well, as a black man, I got pulled over rarely, but I've gotten pulled over and I ain't never got beaten up.
Right.
I wish I could be the fly on the wall or in the car to see what he does to when he encounters police, if he even encounters them.
Right.
Because for all we know, he could be embellishing.
Right. Because a lot of people, you know, just by chances, you know, random, some people may even go through their entire life without ever getting pulled over by the police just because of where they're driving, the routes, the time that they drive. I mean, that is a possibility. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know why? Because I follow the commands of the, say it with me, police officers. Let me just throw this out here.
Look at this though. Let me just throw this out here. The police officers were charged with kidnapping, which meant that they detained him illegally, which started with an illegal traffic stop because there was no probable cause for the traffic stop. Notice how he keeps leaving that out, and then the people in his comment section are just saying, well, all you have to do is comply. So what they're saying is basically, well, if you just listen to I'm white and I say so, you'll be okay, which we all know won't be okay, because even the coons won't be okay, and that's all they do is preach I'm white and I say so. They're on a ticking timer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because they want to speculate, I'll give a speculation based on my training and experience and common sense. Now, I believe that there's that is unequivocal that these officers were wrong if they beat him up and killed him in his car. Because this was a use of force situation. No guns were involved. He got pretty much beat to death. If they beat him up in the car, are they wrong?
What difference does it make? A man is dead.
Right.
It doesn't matter where they beat him up at. They beat him and he died.
They beat him up during an illegal arrest that led to his death.
And like you said, the kidnapping, and I think they had multiple kidnapping charges. It wasn't just one.
And that's what
that kidnapping charge.
That's where that official oppression charge came from. The definition of that official oppression charge that has to do with the kidnapping, because it has to do with how they were detaining him.
Furthermore, going back to his police work, I need to know what department he came out of, because I need to know what the protocol is not for the ones currently now, but if you can pull the file of what the protocol was when he got there to the time he left, because I need to know, because then I bet you they not gonna line up with each other.
Nah, I bet you this dude used to work at the mall and drive around in a golf cart.
Like Paul Blart.
Yep. Mall cop.
Now, I know for a fact they didn't beat him up in the car. He was out of the car. So how did he get out of the car on a traffic stop?
Didn't they say that he was dragged out?
Yeah, if you look at the footage, it shows the cops reaching in there and dragging him out. And then if you listen to some of the other people who were victims of the Scorpion unit, they said that they're notorious for reaching in the car and dragging you out or threatening to do that.
But no, I was asking, was that specified before the body cam footage was released, or that was after?
That I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Okay.
I guarantee you, like, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. I guarantee you there was some resistant arrest going on, criminal activity going on, and these people they shun all of it because subsequently he died a few days later after the incident. They don't want to talk about his criminal record. They don't want to talk about.
Let's talk about his criminal record. Let's talk about his.
Hold it. Doesn't he? I don't think he doesn't have. Does he have one?
No, he was a FedEx employee.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because if he did, lamestream media would have plastered that everywhere, like he was just this innate bad guy. They just had to get caught.
Right. So what this is showing is that regardless that he doesn't have a criminal record, his audience has just manufactured a fake criminal record for him, for them to feel good about themselves.
Right.
There's no evidence that he has a criminal record. He was a FedEx employee, and they do background checks and all kind of stuff, just like what you're supposed to have if you're a police officer. But clearly that don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't have a criminal record, and he wasn't doing anything criminal. He wasn't even doing anything that warranted a traffic stop, which again is something that Tatum keeps leaving out.
Put him over. They don't want to talk about where the initial use of force happened. They're not even going to talk about it. I swear, God is my witness, I'm going to blast the police chief for 30 minutes.
And he probably did. Like, Rob, you sent me the video. How long is that video?
You know what? Let me take a quick look. Let me see. I don't think it's that long. I think it's only like I want to say it's only like maybe like 7 minutes.
7 and 30 is miles apart from each other.
Right. Let me see. I'm about to pull it up right now, real quick. Let me see. Oh no, it's not. It's actually 19 minutes.
Oh, the same amount as basically this time, but still, he said for 30 minutes.
Yeah, he did.
Well, still 19 and 30 are two different numbers.
Two different numbers. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you listen to what he's saying and how he's saying it, it's like the body cam footage at this time has not been released, so he doesn't know what's in it. But he's speaking on it as if he knows what he's going to see, and he hopes that his hunch is correct in what he's saying. But I know his hunch was completely off, like it always is.
Right. What he's doing is he knows his audience, right?
He's gaslighting them, like he's getting them riled up.
Yeah.
For
exactly.
what they're about to see.
Exactly. So even when they don't see what it is that he's telling them they're going to see, he's got excuses and talking points for it anyway. And those people feel that their talking points are automatically true and factual, and they're not.
Yeah.
If I find out that she was premature and making all of these statements about these police officers, and I watch the body-worn camera and I don't see that, I'm going to blast her till my voice box go out.
Again, listen to how he's talking and in the tone that he's speaking. He wouldn't say that about a white police chief.
And And I wish he had actually done that so we could get a couple of days break from some video uploads from him.
Right.
And I'm gonna give a number to the police station, and I'm gonna call down there. And if y'all want to call and tell her how you feel, I'm gonna do that if she wrong.
This dude is a full male Karen.
Right.
He just went male Karen.
Exactly. He did. he did just turn into a Karen. I'm gonna call their job, and give her a piece of my mind.
Look at him flipping through those papers.
Exactly.
Don't do stuff like that. If I was on a police department and my police officers had acted in a way in which is inappropriate, I'm not gonna comment. I don't need to comment.
But you'll find a way to do so. You'll find something to nitpick about because you just feel like it's within you to do just that.
Right. That's cool. You can comment, Officer Tatum, and make as many comments as you want to, and we'll just make fun of you every time you do.
Right.
I can say, and maybe if I comment on something after the body-worn camera is released and the public can see it and make an evaluation, then I may comment on why they were released from the police department, not any of the criminal accusations. But if I'm going to go down the path of making that statement against officers that do wrong, I have to stand up for my officers that do right.
Your officers.
You don't have any officers.
Exactly.
Sir. I'm about to pull a Kid Gravity. You don't have any officers, sir.
Hey, and it's funny you mentioned Kid Gravity because I keep thinking of him when he pulled out that fake toy badge. Like Herschel Walker did. I bet you he got a toy badge. He probably know he do. Because Party. I don't know if you know, but Party City about to go out of business. Maybe he need to go and pick one up while it's on sale. Talk about his officers. You don't know them,
right?
You was never a cop in Memphis,
right?
And I'm telling you, I was thinking about this. Me and my wife had spoke about this. Police officers need a Benjamin Crump for police officers. That when police officers get into something like this, they can have a voice.
They have the police union, idiot.
Right. And that sounds like a little bit of envy in his voice too. Like he said, he's saying, why do black people have a person like Benjamin Crump, as much of an ambulance chaser as he is? Why do black people have a Benjamin Crump and the police don't have one that's like him? And like you said, they have a police union.
Right. And this dude act like, and you know what? Actually, I'm glad that you mentioned black people because that just made me remember what he said about Benjamin Crump. There was a white dude, and I forget where it was, but like he had got out of the car or something, and like his truck started moving back, and the police officer shot him, and he ended up dead. Benjamin Crump took that dude's case too.
Yeah.
So he's sitting up here like just everything that he's saying is just like fundamentally incorrect. He's just basically being a cheerleader to his subscribers, to the people in his comment section. He's not even coming with anything factual.
Because none of these cops can make a statement. They can't say, no, this is wrong. I ain't beat that guy up. This is bull crap. They lying. I know.
But they did. But they did.
On camera.
You idiot. They did.
It's like, you got to laugh, man. Like, you got to laugh. Like, it's just so funny, man. Him and Mark Dice need to collab.
Oh, God.
Him and Mark Dice need to collab. They need to do that.
Now you're trying to give me a migraine.
Look, they need to collab so that I can have some late night content to do.
One of those marathon streams.
One of those marathon streams, man. I would not be able to stop laughing. I would be laughing so hard at just the pure, unadulterated stupidity that would come from those two putting their empty heads together. I don't even know what I would say.
For a fact, 90% of officers in these situations, they didn't do anything, but they can't say anything because technically it's under investigation. And the person that's dead, they family can say whatever they want to say because they're not a part of the investigation. But the police officers have no representation. And the truth of the matter is, if you were an attorney, you can go and meet the police officer. They can give you some statements and let you know what's going on. And then you can release that information. And I wish that one of these police officers reach out to me. You can reach out to me anonymously. I won't even bring you up.
Go ahead, Rod, because I know you're about to say something.
Look, I don't even know what to say about that. Ain't nobody about to reach out to you.
Right, exactly. No one's reaching out. That's what I was going to say. No one's who's thinking of you.
Right. You ain't no lawyer. You can't help them out in any way. There ain't no, you're not dropping no bail money.
And if they are in their right mind, hopefully they don't reach out to you just based on what you said in this video alone.
Right.
You will get them even more hemmed up.
Facts. Look, okay, I'll tell you what. After they get convicted, Officer Tatum, make sure you stay good on that. Make sure you put their JPay address in your description box every video that you post from here on out.
I won't even bring you up because I got little birdies. Or you can have a little birdie float in the inbox, float on the email. You ain't even got to tell me your name or nothing. You give me some verifiable information. I'll get your word out there.
And probably some money. He didn't mention that, but probably some money. You know, slide him some dividends.
Right. Slide me the little brown envelope, you know.
He ain't gonna say that, but he'll probably mention it. He be like, it's in the small print.
Right.
I'll tell what really happened. And if you're wrong, I gotta get you. That's just the way it is. I believe in policing is a in my opinion, one of the most honorable things that you can do is patrol and serve your community, putting your life on the line for perfect strangers. That's the closest to sacrifices like Christ did in any profession.
Man, if this dude don't stop, man, bro, go somewhere.
So now you are a evangelist. All I'm waiting for him to do is put the little number down there at the bottom and in the website and do like the Peter pop off and say, you know, here's your miracle water. If you drink this, you'll win the Mega Million. Right. Well, I'll tell you what, them police officers, man, they gonna really be needing that Christ.
Right.
Like the Hebrew.
Like, this dude is delusional. You know,
so far, this is the funniest thing I heard from him so far in this whole video.
Man, this whole video is comedy, man. Like this is actually funny. Like, it's funny how like just ridiculously over the top and moronic these people are. Like, it's just amazing to me.
Yeah, that's why I say tell people don't get so stressed out by stuff that he says or the Kunshas or any of them, because it's absolutely ridiculous of the stuff that comes out of their mouth that they think is so factual. And then they have the audience down there eating it up and cheering. And I think that's the even more funnier part. When you look at the comment section of this video and any video this man's ever done, besides the Uvalde one, because that's the only time that they actually checked him. But the other ones, they like, yes, Brandon, you go, Brandon.
You're our hero.
Yes, Officer Tatum 2024.
Right, Officer Tatum 2024.
You are the truth.
Right, he's a genius, man.
We are not exaggerating when we say that. They literally will say stuff like that in the comment section. If y'all have the stomach to actually look at some of the stuff that they say, that's what they'll be saying down there, or something along those lines.
Have you ever seen the unfortunate situation where like a crackhead is geeking, like they just geeking out, just acting crazy, saying like nonsensical stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I see like people like Officer Tatum or the people in his comment section, that's why I'd be laughing so hard, because it's like I'm watching somebody geeking. Like, I'm watching somebody geek right now. Like, Officer Tatum is a geek. You know what I'm saying? And it's just hilarious. And then when you see all the other little geeks in the comment section, it's comical.
No more funny than that time that I guess he found his black side and was going off. Who was that YouTuber a couple years ago?
Oh, he went off on somebody? Who he go off on?
I forgot who it was. The one where he was literally calling this person nigga like every other word. I know you had to have seen. I'm surprised you never seen that video. I'm sure the people in the chat probably are referencing who I'm talking about, who he went off on. And it was so funny because people did not know him to go off like that. They always knew him for doing this. And it was other black people on the panel. And the black people on the panel were so calm and just looking at this guy, like, not in disgust, but they like were literally laughing at, like, literally smirking, like, dude, like, why are you performing right now?
Right. Oh, so he was on a panel?
Yeah, he was on a panel. This is before WooVid. This was before C19.
Man, I gotta find, if you find that video, man, send that to me so I could watch it, because I'm gonna die laughing.
Yeah, some of the people who's watching this right now know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'll send it to you, and I'm telling you, you should do a stream about that. I'm telling you,
bro,
might
I
fall
will.
out of your chair,
bro. I'm doing
laughing
this
at this.
the moment, bro. The moment I get that, if I'm not at work or if I'm not out, the moment I get that message with the link, I'm hitting the live button. It's going down.
Okay, yeah, I definitely want to see you talk about this, because when I first saw that video, I was like, is that him talking? Like literally, if you closed your eyes and turned your back and just all you had was on some headphones, you would swear this was somebody else.
He had one of them Wayne Brady moments.
It's almost like his pseudo hood side came out. Kind of like when Candace Owens a couple of days ago, when she had that whole thing with Steven Crowder and she kept saying bitch like every other sentence. Like you never heard her talk like that before.
Right.
That's how he was when he was saying nigga every other word, every other sentence. But trust me, Rob, when you get a chance, watch that video. I'm gonna be right there laughing with you, like in the chat. That's a real world is correct moment right there. For real, for real.
I gotta see that. I gotta see it now. I'm about to, matter of fact, I'm about to look for it too on my own and see if I can find it.
All right.
Military is probably one of the only other ones that you can make a tremendous sacrifice directly for the life of another person, literally dying in the line of duty for people who probably don't deserve it. This is a very honorable.
That's an interesting way that he feels about the public. So again, here goes another reflection of how he would be as a police chief. You know, the people that you're saving, just take it with a grain of salt because they don't deserve it anyway. Probably. Really?
Exactly. Like this guy, he speaks in a very elitist tone.
And I hold it dear and close to my heart to keep it honorable. And those who damage the badge, disrespect the badge, I'm going to call you on the carpet. You knew that when you signed up and put that badge on. And I'm not saying this as a pundit. I'm saying it because I got that badge pinned on me. My father pinned my badge, a respectable man who had a badge of his own.
Would you like a cookie to go with that glass of milk?
Or some butter to go with that biscuit?
It's almost like this is one of the moments where you could cue the little tiny violin. This is the perfect little tiny violin moment.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah.
Now, listen to like how he went from talking crap about Tyre Nichols, because that's basically what he did, to now talking about valor.
Well, he knows that his audience doesn't have a very high IQ or a very long attention span, so he just got to start going off on tangents to keep him entertained.
I almost wonder what his analytics looks like. Like, what's the watch time ratio?
I bet you
of his videos, because I'm willing to bet a lot of them don't even watch the whole video.
Nah, his watch time got to be like 15 seconds.
Wow. Imagine you making a 20-minute video and your audience only watches on average 15 seconds. That is terrible.
Right. They hit the like button, leave a comment, and keep it moving. Ain't nobody watching all this.
That's exactly why many of them said in the comment. I'm glad you said that. Said in the comment section, and I kid you not, if he would have just complied, didn't resist, didn't run, didn't flee, he wouldn't have been shot. I bet you many of them didn't watch the video to know that Tyre Nichols wasn't shot.
Right.
You got him confused with the other black guy that was shot unjustly.
Right.
Just a sea of idiots.
Yeah.
So I don't make criticisms because it's popular, because I want to go viral. It's because I believe that this is one of the most honorable professions, and I want to make sure that it has integrity. And I use my voice to call out officers who are doing wrong and officers who are justified in their actions.
I call cap on that. Because he said he doesn't do this to go viral. Then why are the videos that you do like this in this format on topics such as these are your most watched videos?
Right.
Like really think about it. Like the videos he does like this are the ones that get watched the most. Not saying his other ones don't get watched like that, because I'm sure that they do. But these are the ones that really trigger the algorithm.
Yeah, it's because he's so performative on these videos, and the people in his comment section, they feel like they're being championed. They feel like they have somebody defending them. So, you know what I'm saying? They really like those videos. You know what I'm saying? They like to hear a black person talk like that. But Officer Tatum, he can't talk about anything else. He can't talk about the economy. He can't talk about, foreign policy. He can't talk about domestic policy. He can't talk about the national deficit. He can't talk about funny news stories. He doesn't ever talk about any local news stories. This is a dude that reacts to TikTok videos. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, see, I didn't know that, but see, then again, I don't follow his content, so I wouldn't have known that he was reacting to TikTok videos.
Oh yeah, I be checking him out because I be wanting to see if I'm gonna be petty or not and do a little reaction to some stupid stuff that he be saying. But like that's how I knew he did the reaction video to that to the Fresh and Fit fiasco, and that video that he did to the Fresh and Fit fiasco, that didn't boost his platform or anything like that. It was a lot of us smaller content creators when that had happened. Those videos got so much push in the algorithm. Like there was people that had maybe like 50 subscribers after that whole thing was over. There was enough views and watch hours to monetize their account. His video didn't get any significant views. He didn't bump his subscriber count up. He didn't have like over 1 million people watch it. Like there was nothing significant about that. And it was a viral topic for like over a month and he couldn't capitalize on it.
Wow.
Because they don't have a voice. I have to be the voice. And I'm fine with doing that. And there's been many occasions where I've gone out and I've stuck my neck out there for officers and I said that they did what was right and people hated me and they were talking trash about me, unfollowing me. And then the truth came out and they realized that your boy was right.
What truth?
Yeah, right.
I want specifics about what exactly. That's what case is he referring to? Because he's speaking very vague. It's very open.
Right. And that's just to be able to have bragging rights because he can't say anything because he's wrong all the time.
I don't do commentary.
I was about to say something really bad.
Huh?
I was about to say something really bad. I was about to... I'm not going to say it. Go ahead.
These incidents that I don't know what I'm talking about. The reason why I haven't mentioned anything about these Memphis police officers because I just hadn't looked it up. I hadn't.
Oh, really? What you don't say. It took you 17 minutes and 5 seconds to actually say something that actually made sense. Wow. You didn't look it up.
Right.
Rob, are you absolutely flabbergasted by this?
I'm my jaw. I'm still trying to pick it up off the table.
Right. I know the chat is probably just mind blown by what he just said.
Yeah.
Because I can't believe it. I'm literally I'm over the moon right now with this one.
Him putting his opinion on something that he has no idea about. Shocked. I'm shocked.
Exactly. And for the slow people in the back, we were just being sarcastic.
Yeah, we were sarcastic.
Looked into it. I didn't know what went on. I didn't know there was body-worn camera or not. And so I didn't want to make a comment on it.
But you did.
Right. You made a whole bunch of videos.
You made a almost 20-minute video doing just that. You know what? He should have probably cut this video 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason for this video to have been more than 7 minutes. You're not giving any information right now. You're just rambling. All you're doing is giving a lot of speculation with no facts behind it. All the subscribers have cut the video off at this point. Remember, he only has a 15-second watch time. So,
but today, me and my producer got together. He sent me a lot of stuff so that I could be knowledgeable about what happened. And this is, the knowledge that I'm presenting to you guys.
You need to fire your producer.
Man, this dude has a producer.
Because apparently your producer don't know what he or she or they are doing.
He has a producer.
That's
bro.
What
you don't find your own content and do your own content. I bet you he don't edit his own videos or nothing like that either.
And the thing is, his videos are very easy to edit.
Yeah,
all he had in there was a couple of news clips and his promo for his merch. That's it. He's not doing any jump cuts, which takes a long time to edit. When you're doing them jump cuts, that takes a long time to edit.
Yeah,
that's why I don't do jump cuts in my videos, or any video that I edit, because those take forever, especially if it's a long video.
Right.
I mean, these officers were on a special unit, and I guarantee you the reason why all of them are black is because they were probably on a special unit. And I say guarantee you, I don't know it for a fact, but just putting context clues together. All these officers are black. I'm pretty sure they were assigned to deal with crime in the black neighborhood in Memphis.
No, they were probably all black because Memphis is predominantly black.
Right.
This guy doesn't even know how to read demographics.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty self-explanatory. Memphis is a predominantly black city in Tennessee.
I bet you if you reach into a salt shaker, you will get a whole bunch of salt. Like, duh. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was saying. I forget who it was. I think it was Larry Elder. He said something dumb like those officers were diversity hires. How are they diversity hires in an area that's predominantly black?
Exactly. I think I remember you said that.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Like, these are just this is what it looks like when you have these bootlegs, these coons literally just repeat white supremacist talking points with no brain power or no thought process or anything behind them other than just repeating what somebody told him to say. And like he said, he just admitted here he has a producer, so I'm sure his producer also helps manufacture his talking points.
Yeah.
You want to bet me? The Scorpion unit probably was a unit designated for black officers to patrol their own community. Because you get a white man in there and he get into something, they're going to blame him and say it's white privilege. They've given the authority to black officers to go in their own community and be able to exercise law enforcement.
Why does it sound like he reading? Did you notice that? If you notice the cadence in his voice went from talking very fast to then he looked down at the sheet and now it looks like he's reading and struggling to even do that.
He said if a white officer get into something, they're gonna call it white privilege. If you don't shut your simple self up, Officer Tatum, dang, man, this dude is so doggone simple, man. He's so simple and silly.
And to the people out here, like, now you understand why I people will be asking me, Taurean, can you respond to or react to something that Fakum said, or Fakum said this, can you do a video about it? This is exactly why I don't,
bro. We can always react to it. Now you got time. Now you got the dynamic duo. We can get it in. Like, man, we can react.
I mean, it's like I'm not saying it's possible. I'm just saying I personally wouldn't do it by myself.
Right.
I don't have time to go in on him alone because it's like, for what?
Right. Right. It's just so funny, man. It's just so comical. Like, it's just like, now this dude reading and struggling. Now you can tell it's at the end of the video.
Yeah, because it's only a minute and a half left. So right now, like you said, he's been rambling. Rambling for like the last 7 to 8 minutes about nothing. He's not even really focused on the topic at hand anymore.
Without the initial indictment or the premeditated indictment just because of the color of their skin. I almost guarantee that's what the Scorpion unit is.
And I would bet to him that he is absolutely 100,000% incorrect.
Right.
I guarantee you, by and large, when you see this many black police officers in one incident, it's because they're in a specialty unit targeted at getting rid of crime that black people are committing.
My thing is this: these police units are not new. They've been around for decades, and it's not just black people or black cops that are just in these various units in various departments around the establishment. It's a very mixed bag.
Right.
So for him to say that this police unit or these police units are just, with black officers to be designated and sanctioned off to black areas, that couldn't be more false.
Right. And like, let's not talk about the law enforcement that they had to make to deal with the crimes that Italian people were committing, like the RICO statute. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Dude. It's like, this dude he's so silly and dramatic. He's one of those kind of people that, like, I guarantee you, if he ever was about to get in a fight, whoever he was about to fight would probably just laugh right in his face. Like, nobody, like, he's that dude that no one took serious, because like, you can't even listen to this stuff and take it serious because it's just so easy to debunk and it's so outlandish and just factually incorrect. You know what I'm saying?
In Memphis. I'm just throwing it out there. I could be wrong.
No, you are wrong. Not could be, you are.
Right. It's like he said this unit was put together to take care of the crime that the black people are committing. You mean like how those suburban cops are dealing with the crime that all the white people are committing in the suburbs. Like, what are you talking about? The cops in the area usually reflect what the area's population matrix is, and they deal with the people in that area doing the crime. So if you're in a majority black area, it would make the most sense that probably if there are crimes going on, it would be black people committing them, because who else would be committing them? Because ain't nobody else there.
Exactly.
Like, I'll correct it if I have new information that will contradict what I said,
which I'm sure will be
your boy Benjamin Crump is the lowest of the low when it comes to people. And I sat on a panel with Benjamin Crump at an event, and just the snake oil that's pouring off of Benjamin Crump is mind blowing to me.
Oh, I'm sure the feeling was very mutual when it came to you.
Oh yeah. No, it's amazing how he has such criticism for Benjamin Crump, but Benjamin Crump ain't never killed anybody, never been questionably harmed anybody. Honestly, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody's ever accused him of like stealing their money or being a shyster, had they?
No. And it's crazy. And this is another thing that I don't like about Fakum. He actually has us up here making a good argument in good faith about Ben Crump.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the craziest part.
Right. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like, you know, I'm just speaking, you know, from facts. You shouldn't sit up here and slander the man. Ben Crump's got enough that we could actually find honest criticisms and critique him on those. But to say that he's a snake oil salesman and that he's stealing and that he's a scammer and all this stuff, like, come on, bro. Like, that's pure exaggeration. And all you're trying to do is just like slander this dude professionally, which is pathetic. If you can't use your own talking points to actually make a point, then you probably need to submit that point.
Exactly.
When you only go after and you ambulance chasing, going after cases where you think you're going to get a payday. That's all this is. It doesn't matter if the police officers are justified or not. They're going to get paid.
How come nobody calls accident attorneys ambulance chasers when they actually do chase ambulances?
Good point.
And again, like they got me up here defending Benjamin Crump.
Exactly. That's the crazy part about it. We be critiquing the hell out of him.
Right.
Like I did last night when I said he looked like one of them California dancing raisins.
That was hilarious.
Like that literally just popped up in my head. The crazy thing about it is that commercial predates me. I mean, I know it's an 80s commercial, but it came out before I was born. And all I could think about was that claymation that they used to do back in the day and them dancing California raisins. And I said he looked just like that.
Bro, I was a little kid like when that first came out. Like they had a whole cartoon and everything. Like YouTube, the California Raisins cartoon. Like they had a cartoon and they had like the little claymation, like little 5-minute cartoons that they used to make.
Yeah,
they're gonna pay the family out. These cops could not get indicted, or could end up winning the trial, not guilty, and they're gonna still pay the family out. That's why Benjamin Crump is involved. I guarantee you, man. We need some police officer attorneys to show up and support police officers so they can get their message out there without them tainting the system before.
That's pretty much it. And I'm cutting it off before his little theme music kicks in.
Yeah, garbage music. Don't the police already have the police union, and the police union actually provides the police with attorneys, right?
Yeah.
So what is he talking about?
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's that whole nonsense about with the same thing when people be like, oh, I'm canceled. And then you go look at their account, they got like 3 million subscribers. You're like, what are you talking about? You canceled.
Yeah, you got 3 million subscribers. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Whether or not they all watch you, that's still 3 million people.
Right. That's still an automatic 3 million people that will get notifications about your content being posted.
Exactly. But Rob, we made it to the end.
We made it. We did pretty good on the time.
We did pretty good on time, considering that this was a longer video than the Charlie one.
Yeah. Like I said, Officer Tatum is easy, man. He's between laughing and just picking out, because he gives you so much content. Like he makes so many mistakes and he's so not well spoken. It's just so you got time to be petty with him. You got time to debunk a couple lies that he tells. There's going to be a couple times when you get some good still shots of him bucking his eyes. I mean,
I did, because I saw a few candidates for a thumbnail as that video was going through. So if y'all watching this and y'all see the thumbnail and it comes to a point where I paused it, like, oh, that looks just like the thumbnail. That's because I got it from that point.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. So if you if the audience enjoys this this reaction, and if you up to do it, you know what I'm saying, I'll definitely be down to check out that other video. And then I think we should actually I think we should actually check out that one that I sent you with Piers Morgan, because I think that your subscribers would actually really enjoy us ripping that video to shreds too.
Piers Morgan done said something else.
Have you ever heard of Zuby?
No.
He has this guy on there named Zuby, and Zuby is somebody who I do not like at all. And if and when we do the reaction to that video, you will see why I don't like him. But that's that last video, the very last one before these messages here that I had sent you on Twitter. So check it out. Check out about 2 minutes of it and let me know what you think.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Cool.
But anyway, everybody, that concludes this collab. We have done it yet again. I'm glad everybody came through and were thoroughly entertained or felt some type of way. I can tell you right now, this one right here is just a ball of emotions. Like it'll either make you happy, sad, mad. I'm sure it's definitely going to make you laugh for sure. Because there was a lot of comedic moments in here. We did the best we could with what we had. And like Rob said, this is most likely not the second, well, I was going to say not the last time, because we did this the second one right here.
Right.
So I'm very sure it's more to come. And a lot of people responded to that Charlie Cheon one we did and said that they liked the collab we did and hope that we did more. So here we are, and it looks like or sounds like it's probably going to be some more in the future. And what's crazy? They give us content because honestly, we already have our own content that we can do on our own. It's pretty, self-explanatory. But a lot of these fools out here, like the one we just spent the last hour and almost a half going in on, they give us content to like literally rip them apart.
Oh, absolutely. And I love doing that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, anytime. You already know, anytime, just hit me up. If I'm free, man, we can get it in.
Yeah. Oh, and before we go, I got to give you a shout out. Congratulations on hitting 3,000 subscribers. Because the last time that we did a collab, you was knocking on 3K's door, and here we are a week later, and you have actually passed 3,000.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man, and I appreciate the shout out, because I think that collab that we did and you giving me the shout out, I think that definitely helped to get that momentum to push me over that 3K mark. So that's what's up. I wanted to have a celebration for my 4K on my other channel, but right when I was supposed to, what happened. So
yeah, unfortunately,
right.
you'll get it back. You'll get maybe you can have the 4K celebration on this channel.
Right, no doubt.
But yeah, we about to get up out of here. Make sure, if y'all have not done so already, to hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure to go and check Rob's channel, Blacklight Revelations 2. I'm gonna have the link down in the description, and make sure y'all subscribe over there and have that bell clicked if you want those marathon style streams. Or like Janess to be writing in your comment section, is this going to be a 6-hour stream? She probably over here in the chat right now. She probably laughing as I
right.
But yeah, y'all be easy.
All right, peace. Appreciate it, bro.